Okay, so we're going to look at dividing now. Think back to when we divided fractions. Say you had like 2/3 divided by 5/4, something like that. Well, we don't divide fractions. We keep the first one, we change it to multiplication, and then we use the reciprocal of the second one. So we change it from a division problem to a multiplication problem. And that's the way we divide fractions. So you might remember doing something like that in the past. My students have a phrase, sometimes they say keep, change, flip. So they mean keep the first one, change from division to multiplication, and then flip or reciprocate the second one. Okay? And then from there, it's a multiplication problem. We do what we were doing on the last couple problems. In this case, nothing cancels, so we'd get 8/15. Okay? And then that would be the answer for that particular problem. Okay, now let's look at it with rational expressions. So the first thing I'm going to do is change it from a division problem to a multiplication problem. So I'm going to rewrite it, x cubed minus 8 over 3x squared minus 6x plus 12. Now, we know we're going to factor those, but I usually wait to do the factoring on the next step. It's kind of a pain because you have to rewrite the whole thing, but I'm less likely to make a mistake. Okay, so I'm keeping the first rational expression, changing to multiplication, and now I'm going to flip the second one, the second rational expression. So we're doing that. The numerator is becoming the denominator is becoming the numerator. Okay, this is a good problem because it brings in some new things. So I'm going to go ahead and factor this numerator, the x cubed minus 8. That is the difference of cubes. So you have to go back to your factoring maybe and look up that formula, but it says if you have a cubed minus b cubed, it factors into a minus b times a squared plus ab. Oopsies. I left out part. Plus b squared. Okay, so we have that. The b in our case is going to be 2. So we have 2 for b and x for the a. So I'll write over here what it's going to be. It's going to factor into x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. Now, if you need to take a couple steps to write that out so you can get that, that's fine. You know, that's totally fine to do. I'm going to run out of room, but that's the way these problems kind of are. All right, maybe I'll go down below here. All right, so that's the numerator. Then the denominator is 3x squared minus 6x plus 12. That's going to be a little more involved because it has a GCF. Take out the 3. Now, is that going to factor? No, I don't think it's going to factor. I can't think of any, I can't think of two numbers that multiply to be 4 and add to be -2. So that's I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. It could have been 1 times 4, but they both have to be negative, and that's not going to be a -2. It could have been 2 times 2, but again, they both have to be negative, and you're not going to get a -2 out of that. So this time, that one doesn't factor anymore. Kind of unusual. Okay, so we'll just write it. 3 times x squared minus, what that is, 2x plus 4. I think that's what it was. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So I wonder if I typed it wrong. Okay, because you can see the trinomials are very similar, but you know, if that's the way they gave it to us, that's the way they gave it to us. You can find these in the book, and if I typed it wrong, then that might make some sense. Okay, the 6 is, you can think of 6 as 2 times 3. You know, that might be helpful to think of 6 as 2 times 3. Let me write that better. Sometimes people will just cross out the 6, you know, like with they've done in the past with fractions. Okay, and then this denominator here, that's the difference of squares. So difference of squares, really handy to know that one. It comes up a lot. Okay, and so I have the x minus 2's are canceling. Those are out. And then this 3 right here is going to cancel with that 3. So what do I have left? Well, I have a 2 in the numerator, and I have x squared plus 2x plus 4, and then it's all over. And I would write the binomial first. It doesn't really matter, but x plus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. So that's the answer I get for this problem. I'll go and check and see if I typed it wrong, because it just seems like those trinomials would cancel, but sometimes they try to trick us, so that's the answer.